And this Monday morning, let's begin by getting you up to speed with all the updates that came in over the weekend on Omicron. The holiday season is on us, and that's why states have imposed stricter curbs, particularly night curfew. Wherever you stand on the debate, the reality is that most states now have imposed a night curfew. Delhi is the latest on that list, with a night curfew being reintroduced in the wake of the surge of COVID cases. This night curfew will be applicable from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. starting today. On Sunday, Delhi reported 290 fresh COVID cases and had one fatality. The positivity rate rose to 0.55%. Night curfews have also been imposed by neighbouring states of Uttar Pradesh and Haryana as well. Maharashtra had earlier issued fresh COVID guidelines, including a strict night curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. All New Year Eve celebrations have been banned in the city of Mumbai. This new surge has also dulled the wedding season. The government has put a cap of 100 guests for indoor weddings and 200 for outdoor weddings. The new guidelines have also restricted the capacity of gyms, of spas, hotels, theatres and cinema halls to 50%.
Scary images of massive crowding in Kolkata amid alarming Omicron transmission. Despite curbs announced by several states, crowds of revelers refused to fall in line. From Kolkata to Shimla to Delhi's crowded markets, maskless crowds breaching COVID safety. The scenes are disturbingly similar. Mumbai government in Karnataka has imposed a night curfew across the state from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. starting December 28th. Banned mass public gatherings and celebrations, only 50% seating allowed in pubs and restaurants. Neighbouring Tamil Nadu has made 7-day quarantine mandatory for foreign passengers coming from at-risk countries.
For the year 2021, New Year celebrations in the state of Tamil Nadu was completely banned. However, for 2022, there are certain restrictions that has been provided. The first and foremost thing is that no public gathering will be allowed at coastal zones. The state is also encouraging and concentrating on vaccine camps, and that's what you could see in one simple location in Chennai roads, where the people are requested to get vaccinated as soon as possible.
Night curfew also returns in Maharashtra with new guidelines. No big events allowed for Christmas or New Year celebrations. Only 50% capacity is allowed for gyms, spas, hotels, theatres and cinema halls. The government hopes that new curbs will stop Omicron transmission amid public events ahead of the New Year.
The COVID situation is serious in Mumbai and Maharashtra. Mumbai recorded more than 700 cases. Maharashtra recorded more than 1,400 cases. And this is the reason why various restrictions have been imposed in Mumbai and Maharashtra as such. Health experts maintain that the cases might rise in January and February as well. And it is very essential for the people to realize their collective responsibility and abide by COVID-appropriate behavior.
COVID curbs has been extended until December 31st in the national capital. Ban will continue on social and cultural gatherings to avoid overcrowding. Amid the surge in cases, Kolkata is witnessing blatant flouting of COVID norms and crowding.
As multiple states and cities are coming up with restrictions and night curfews, West Bengal government has completely gone away with the night curfew for the last 1 week of the festive season.
Will the festive crowds once again dent the government's Omicron preparedness? With Karthik in Bengaluru, Pramod Madhav in Chennai, Pankaj Upadhyay in Mumbai and Suryagni Roy in Kolkata, Bureau Report, India Today.
A COVID shadow looms over polls again as India is witnessing a spike in Omicron cases. As 5 states prepare to go to polls early next year, the Election Commission top brass will be meeting at 11 this morning with the Health Secretary over Omicron concerns. The Commission may also seek suggestions on improving protocols for poll campaigning, polling days and also the dates of counting. Now, the Election Commission is likely to seek updates from Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan on the COVID situation and also on the emergence of the super mutant Omicron. The poll panel is expected to announce election dates next month. The Chief Election Commissioner is scheduled to visit Uttar Pradesh to take stock of the poll preparedness in the state. All of this comes after the Allahabad High Court had urged the government and the Election Commission to consider postponing the UP Assembly polls and to ban all political rallies. The country is preparing to mobilize vaccine doses for booster shots and jabs for kids, teenagers particularly. India has activated its share of vaccine doses in the COVAX alliance to make more doses available. These would be doses of Covishield vaccine by Serum Institute of India. States and union territories are equipped with 17.9 crore doses as balance. Now, as a remainder, moreover, orders for 20 crore doses have been placed with Serum Institute of India and with Bharat Biotech, which are in the pipeline. A total dose projection now is about 58 crore approximately. So over the weekend, the big headline was, of course, the Prime Minister announcing boosters. And since then, there's been a fierce credit war that's broken out. The opposition hailed the Prime Minister's Christmas booster, but the applause was short-lived. Politics very soon, as expected, took over. The Congress, the TMC, AIMIM, all of them are coming together trying to claim credit for forcing the government, according to them, to implement the booster decision.
प्रिकॉशन की दृष्टि से सरकार ने निर्णय लिया है कि हेल्थ केयर और फ्रंटलाइन वर्कर्स को वैक्सीन की प्रिकॉशन डोज भी प्रारंभ की जाए.
India finally announcing precautionary booster jabs. Prime Minister Narendra Modi announcing next phase of vaccine war. The move welcomed by top doctors.
This will give us the added protection. I think it's a great initiative. Pediatrics and the third dose will give a huge ignition to our immunization campaign in the early part of next year.
Oh, I'm absolutely thrilled. I couldn't have hoped for better news.
मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों,
The opposition too hailed the Prime Minister's Christmas booster, but the applause was short-lived and politics took over. Opposition leaders cutting across parties wanted just one thing: credit for the big booster move. Congress MP Rahul Gandhi led the credit war and tweeted that the centre had finally accepted his suggestion on boosters and sought third vaccine dose for all. Soon Twitter was the battleground for a full-blown credit war over boosters. Shiv Sena's Aditya Thackeray, Priyanka Chaturvedi, TMC's Mahua Moitra, AIMIM's Asaduddin Owaisi were among prominent opposition leaders who queued up to claim credit, saying that it was them who forced the government to bring the booster jab. While the Congress rule in Maharashtra officially welcomes the booster move, Congress itself raised doubts over centre's plan for both the booster rollout and the vaccination for children.
महाराष्ट्र सरकार की तरफ से हमने रखी थी, वो मांगे पूरी हुई है. निश्चित तौर पर खुशी है. इस टीकाकरण का निश्चित तौर पर फायदा होगा और लोग सुरक्षित रह सकेंगे.
चाहिए 60 करोड़, हैं 18 करोड़. तो भैया वो बाकी के जो बचे 41.5 करोड़ डोज वैक्सीन के, वो कब आएंगे, कहां से आएंगे और कब उपलब्ध करवाएंगे?
The Indian Medical Association has welcomed the much-awaited booster shots and vaccine for kids, terming them the right move.
Definitely, it will help in a long way to combat the COVID, which is going to penetrate into our country in a long way in the third wave. When we are taking care of the frontline workers, the doctors, it is a booster dose where they have an adequate immunity to face the normal the COVID virus. But when they are going to expose, the frequency is going to be high and the load of virus they are going to be exposed are going to be high. Definitely, they need augmented immunity.
Bureau Report, India Today.
Co-presented by Berger Paints. Paint your imagination.
This Monday morning, let's get you up to speed with also all the big political stories coming in from poll-bound Punjab. Captain Amrinder Singh is likely to announce a seat-sharing pact with his new alliance partner, the Bharatiya Janata Party. Captain and senior BJP leaders are likely to hold a key meet to seal the seat-sharing deal ahead of the Punjab elections. This is part of a series of meetings conducted to discuss the seat-sharing formula. Prime Minister Modi's January rally in Punjab is likely to be a part of the discussions. This comes after Captain formed his own party, the Punjab Lok Congress, after distancing himself from the Congress last month. He then announced an alliance with the Saffron Party earlier this month, and that was, of course, only a seat-sharing pact. Now, last week, what made headlines was the hate speech at the Haridwar Dharam Sansad. There's been a fresh communal rant that's come to light, this time in a meet in Raipur. The Raipur Hindu Dharam Sansad came to an abrupt end after the patron Ram Sundar stormed out of the venue. This after he objected to a seer who abused Mahatma Gandhi and hailed Nathuram Godse. The seer Kali Charan even abused Owaisi and called for a Hindu hardliner to rule India. Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel skipped the Dharam Sansad event. The Raipur Dharam Sansad is being held days after a similar event in Haridwar, where attendees were seen making communal speeches calling for genocide and pushing for a Hindu Rashtra.
वो मोहनदास करमचंद गांधी ने सत्यानाश पेल दिया। वो नाथुराम गोडसे जी को नमस्कार है, मार डाला काली ओवैसी। उसने बोला था 15 मिनट पुलिस हटाओ, हिंदुओं को तो हवा में लात मारी थी क्या उसने? नहीं, हवा में लात नहीं मारी उसने। सच्ची में मुसलमानों की तैयारियां हैं। अगर धर्म का संरक्षण करना है तो राजा कट्टर हिंदूवादी बिठाओ।
It is unfortunate that in a society we feel as egalitarian, which has progressed from medieval and later modern times to the current era, where we are reaching out to the skies. We have people with a mindset who strategically attempt to rouse sentiments. It is unthinkable that people can compare the father of a nation, a world-renowned leader, with a person who is murdered being compared to a person who is linked with hardline thoughts and who was himself implicated, though let off, in the murder of our father of the nation. And it is such people who espouse these views, which you played on the screen just a while ago, who are attempting to somehow rouse, that hunger for power and to the hunger to remain in power.
Welcome back. 2021 was the year when India witnessed one of the deadliest COVID waves and a second lockdown. Social engagements went for a toss again, and what followed was a term called revenge fashion. Let's decode all of the fashion trends in the year that's gone by.
2021 saw India coming off a deadly second wave and a second lockdown as life limped back to normalcy again. Fashion was the revenge that got served quite hot. Bling saw a comeback in how? With bold silver and gold sequencing, these dresses sparkled through the parties and festivities. Glittery ensembles were perhaps the most revengeful, showing the world we are back to life.
In India, what you see outside colleges or whether it's on the streets or on the colleges, the youngsters are very in tune to the global trends.
When it comes to bling, I tell everybody, I don't think it ever goes. So I wouldn't really say comeback, but you feel it's a comeback because occasions have risen, because now we are allowed to go out. But I feel bling is something that never goes, especially when it comes to Indian wear. Now, but you want to talk about ready to wear? Yes, I feel there is a lot of bling when it comes to bomber jackets or when it comes to denims. You find denims with bling on it.
The ramp walks were also flooded with a lot of oversized jackets and blazers and cohorts, making a bigger size a go-to this year. Was oversized the new fitted? From Karan Johar to Sonam Kapoor to international divas, this style had the stamp of approval from many influencers.
Basically, oversized jackets have become a favorite in every woman's wardrobe because it is so versatile. You can wear it for brunch, you can wear it in the evening, you can wear it like just casually for a meeting. And from your day look to the night look, you can basically, if it's a large oversized jacket and you're a small person, you can even belt it, put on heels and wear it. So it can become from like just street to like very classy with just a pair of pumps and a nice belt.
When it comes to oversized silhouettes, I really do feel that they're very predominant in 2021. But 2021 is not where it all started. I think it started sometime in 2018 onwards, or definitely 2019 onwards. If you really see, Balenciaga is the best example of super oversized jackets and track pants and shoes. Everything is oversized. Even your sweatshirts, your blazers, your track pants, even the shoes are oversized.
One thing that I would suggest to all the viewers is that when you're looking at oversized fashion, keep in mind to have either one of the ensembles fitted. When you're going for an oversized blazer, opt for a bottom which is well fitted and vice versa.
Boyfriend denims. They never really go out of style, but get replaced by new cuts and trends, putting them in the back burner. But this year, they were out of the closet and comfort married style with these loose-fitted jeans and trousers.
Low-waisted denims, we had the boyfriend jeans, we had the oversized blazers, we had corsets, we had the flared pants, and also as an accessory, the headscarves.
You will find boyfriend jeans coming back into the trends because the whole retro feel, the 80s feel, the high-waisted, either they are pleated or then they are, again, boyfriend jeans. Basically, they're very loose and straight fits. It's a complete, I will say, like a revolt against the skinny jean trends, which is a very new millennium kind of symbol.
And work from home also had a new corporate leisurely look take precedence. From comfort trousers to sharp tops, the stylish sneakers stood out and caught our attention. Even luxury brands saw quite the sneaker onslaught this year.
What I've noticed from work on home trends is I think they're running out of joggers and they're running out of like sweats because that's all everyone's been wearing, like joggers, tees, and like, you know, coordinated sweatpants. So basically now they've come up with a whole collection of that globally, of like, you know, now people are wearing like sweatpants out at night with pumps. So, you know, it's the stay at home and also now to go out trend.
Lastly, we cannot leave you without a mention of the masks and the role they had to play in the ensemble. We paid attention to masks just like how we pay attention to how we pair our shoes or our accessories.
So when it comes to matching masks, I think it's a pretty cool trend because it kind of shows that you've taken fashion seriously along with the pandemic. When you match your mask, it also means that you are you've accepted that unfortunately COVID is here to stay and you're adopting your lifestyle according to that.
Whether bling stays with us or not, whether boyfriend jeans find themselves on the bottom of the pile again and oversized blazers find themselves passé in the year going forward, the matching masks are here to stay even through 2022. In New Delhi, Chaiti Narula for India Today.